If you enjoyed this story, please give it a like and consider subscribing to the channel. It really helps me out and motivates me to keep creating more creepy stories for you. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to check your door before 3:12. When I moved to the small town of Gallimere, Pennsylvania, I was looking for peace, not ghosts. I had just turned 31, recently single, and completely burned out from my job in Philadelphia. The house I bought was cheap, old, and tucked into a quiet, wooded corner of town. I told myself it was perfect. I could finally work on my book, get some fresh air, maybe learn how to cook something other than microwave meals. The locals were polite, in a distant kind of way. They nodded when you walked past them, but nobody asked questions, and nobody pushed for small talk. That suited me fine. The house itself had character. The kind of house where the floor's grown under your feet, the wallpaper peels at the corners, and there's always one window that doesn't quite shut. The previous owner had passed away, no family, no will, so the bank sold it for a price that felt almost suspicious. I should have listened to that feeling. The first few days were uneventful. I spent most of my time unpacking and fixing minor things, squeaky hinges, flickering lights, a clogged bathroom drain. It wasn't until the 6th night that something strange happened. At exactly 3:12 a.m., I woke up. No nightmare. No sound. Just awake. I checked my phone. 3:12, my room was silent. No wind, no creaking, not even the usual buzz of my phone charger. That silence pressed on me like a weight. I went downstairs to get some water, and as I reached the kitchen, I noticed something. The back door, the one that led out to the forest, was unlocked. I was sure I had locked it before going to bed. I always did. But maybe I forgot? I locked it again, went back to bed, and chalked it up to nerves. The next night, I was wide awake at 3:12 again. No sound. Just the same heavy silence. This time, I checked the back door first. Still locked. But when I returned to my room, there was something sitting on my nightstand. A stone. Smooth, oval, and cold to the touch. I hadn't put it there. I hadn't brought any rocks inside. I searched the entire house. Every window was shut. Every door locked. I started leaving lights on at night. On the 8th night, the knocking began. 3 slow knocks. I remember it clearly. It was exactly 3:12 a.m. I was lying in bed, eyes wide open, waiting. Dreading. The knocks came from the front door. I grabbed a flashlight and crept down the stairs. When I looked through the peephole, no one was there. I opened the door slowly. Nothing but darkness and the chirping of crickets. But when I looked down, something was on the doorstep. Another stone. Identical to the one from the night before. That was the first night I really started to feel afraid. I began asking around town, casually at first. I went to the small grocery store and asked the cashier, Marlene, if anyone else had ever experienced strange things at night. Her face darkened immediately. "You're in the old Calhoun place, aren't you?" she asked. I nodded. She didn't say anything else. Just rang up my items in silence. That evening, I found a folded piece of paper slipped under my door. No envelope, no name. Just a note, written in shaky handwriting. If you hear him knock, don't answer. Don't speak. Don't even move. That night, I didn't sleep. I sat in a chair by the front door, holding a kitchen knife in one hand and the flashlight in the other. I waited. And at 3:12, right on schedule, the knock came again. 3 slow knocks. I held my breath. No footsteps. No shadows. Just the sound. As if someone, or something, was waiting outside, expecting me to answer. I didn't move. I didn't even blink. After about 2 minutes, it stopped. When I finally opened the door, there was nothing outside, except for a third stone. Over the next 3 nights, the pattern repeated. Knock, knock, knock. 3:12 a.m. Always 3 knocks. Always silence. Always another smooth, identical stone left at the door. By the 4th night, I had 7 stones on my nightstand. And then something changed. On the 12th night, I waited in the darkness, barely breathing. At 3:12, the knock came. 4 knocks. Not 3. 4. It was louder than usual. Heavier. As if the knocker had gained confidence. I didn't answer. But this time, the knock came again, from the back door. Then again, from the side of the house. It was circling, walking the perimeter. Knocking, knocking, always 4 times. I turned off every light, every sound, and curled up in the corner of the bedroom. That night, no stone appeared. But the next morning, I found something else. A handprint on the kitchen window. Long fingers. Too long. Pressed into the glass from the outside. I went to the local library that day and looked up any old records, local legends, news articles, anything that might explain what was happening. It didn't take long to find it. In 1957, a family had vanished from the very same house. No signs of struggle. Doors were locked from the inside. The only thing police found? A pile of smooth, oval stones on the kitchen table. The only thing police found? And I'll do the same. A pile of smooth, oval stones on the kitchen table. And he'll come in. No signs of forced entry. No blood. No messages. Just the stones. The article called it a mass disappearance and speculated about everything from cult involvement to spontaneous migration. But nothing ever came of it. The case went cold. The house sat vacant for years until it was quietly sold. To me, that night, I didn't bother pretending to sleep. I sat in the living room with every light on, phone in one hand, knife in the other. I had locked every door, nailed every window shut, sealed every crack. Still, at 3:12 a.m., the knocks came. But they didn't come from the front door. They came from inside the walls. 4 knocks. Then another set, across the room. Then another, from the ceiling above me. It was as if something, or many somethings, were moving through the walls, feeling for a way in. Or out. I stood frozen in the center of the room as the knocks echoed around me. Soft. Patient. Intentional. Then they stopped. The lights flickered. And something whispered my name. It came from the hallway. I didn't sleep that night. Or the next. On the 15th day since the knocks began, I noticed the stones on my nightstand were changing. No longer smooth and gray, now they were etched. Tiny carvings. Symbols I didn't recognize. Scratched into the surface like claw marks. I didn't dare touch them. I tried calling people, my sister, an old friend, even the realtor who sold me the house. No one answered. No signal. Even when I drove out of town, my phone stayed dead. The farther I tried to go, the stranger the roads became. They bent in directions that didn't make sense, turned me around until I ended up right back in front of my house. As if I was trapped inside a loop. As if he wouldn't let me leave. That night, I made a decision. I would open the door. I don't know why. Desperation? Curiosity? Madness? Maybe I just wanted it to end. So I sat there, waiting. And at 3:12, right on time. Knock. 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 For slow, deliberate knocks on the front door. I stood. Walked to the door. put my hand on the doorknob. And then, he knocked 5 times. I froze. That was new. Then, something breathed through the keyhole. Slow. Wet. Inside breath. My hand jerked back like it had been burned. No. Not yet. I backed away. The knocking didn't return that night. But the next morning, every mirror in my house was shattered. And scratched into the wall above my bed were the words, "You're almost ready."